Hi, Terry here with my comic cover show. Hope I find you all well. And I've got another story. This one may take a little bit longer, but please don't turn off. About 2 years ago, I had a dream, and about, of all things, a Jonah Hex story. It's actually his last story that appeared in a Spectacular a number of years ago. And I'd just been thinking about it, and I thought, well, I thought I had it, but it turns out I didn't. So I got onto eBay to get a copy. Turned out it was a lot more expensive than I was expecting it to be in a decent condition. So I looked and looked and looked and looked, and eventually I found somebody had that particular book, but also was selling the entire Volume 1 collection, which I didn't have. Another one of those collections I used to have, but no longer. So it was only about £50 more to buy the whole thing, and he had some weird Western tales there. He had graphic trade paperbacks and bits and pieces, and I thought, well, I could always sell those and basically get my money back. So I sent a message to him. He didn't live that far away from me, so I was able to go and collect them. So I was able to get a bit more money for them. Oh, sorry, a bit more money off, I should say. And anyway, this is the comic I'm talking about. There's a Jonah Hex Spectacular. It's a $1 book with all 68 pages of all new stories, which weren't bad for $1 then. As you can see, it cost 25 pence in the UK. Came out, well, the cover date is September 78, and the cover art is by the wonderful Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. But before talking about Jonah's story, I'd like to speak about the other two stories that are in it first of all. Firstly, there was a Backlash story. It was called Chinatown, and it was written by Denny O'Neil. The art was by George Molly Turney and Jerry Serp. And this character, Backlash, first appearance was in Showcase 76 in August 68. I haven't got that book, unfortunately. It's probably one I will get. But his last appearance was actually in this issue of Weird Western Tales, number 71. From March 2010. Weird Western Tales actually finished with issue 70 quite a few years beforehand, but this Blackest Night storyline reprised several of the issues that had already died or ceased to be ex-parrot. Sorry, Monty Python people might get that one. But anyway, this was supposedly his last appearance. Also in this book is a Scalp Hunter story. It's called Rites of Passage. This one was written by Jerry Conway, the art was by Dick Ayers, Danny Belandi and Jerry Serp. Scalp Hunter is another one of my favourite characters, which is never used anymore. But his name was actually Brian Savage, and when he was young he was stolen by Indians, and then he was brought up by the Indians. They gave him the name Kiwo Note, which actually means he who is less than human. His first appearance was in this issue of Weird Western Tales, number 39, April 1977. Issue 38 was the last appearance of Jonah Hex in this title, the one before he got his own title. The cover of this particular one, again by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, and the writing was by Michael Fleischer. The art by Dick Ayers and George Evans. The last appearance of Scalp Hunter was in Starman Volume 2, number 74, which is from February 2001. Cover artist was Andrew Robinson, the writer was James Robinson, and the art was by Russ Heath and Gregory Wright. This story was his death and dying of it. He has become a sheriff in this issue, and it was his last issue. It's a very, very good story. It's very well worth getting. Right then, excuse me, back to Jonah, being as I'm wearing the t-shirt. The story in this book it was based in Cheyenne in Wyoming, and it was called The Last Bounty Hunter. Writer Michael Fleischer, art by Russ Heath and Bob LaRose, and in the story, there's a little short précis of it. Jonah's playing cards, and while he was cleaning his glasses, He's a little bit old now. A guy called George Barrow, the last of the gang that Jonah had killed for bounties, comes in and shoots Jonah at the card table. George is immediately shot dead by Sheriff Hank Crawford. His body is taken back to the Comanche reservation to be cremated, following the traditions of the Indian of the Comanches. But there's a guy called Lou B. Farnham who steals Hex's remains for his Wild West review. They can't use a living Jonah because he's brown bread. So they have him stuffed and they put on display, and over the years Hex's body is moved from one location to another. The story doesn't end there though. This issue, Secret Origins Volume 2, number 21, from December 87. Again, another lovely cover by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, and it's called Requiem for a Gunfighter. Again, written by Michael Fleischer, and the art by Gray Morrow and Bob LaRose. In this issue, his body is found at an amusement park, and Tallbird, who was his second wife, who's now obviously widowed, wants to give him a proper Indian funeral. But Mr. Llewellyn wants Jonah for his collection. He has supposedly the most extensive collection of Jonah Hex memorabilia in the world. Llewellyn arrives to interview Tallbird while Jonah stands stoically behind her. She tells his story, and after finishing this story, which is related through this book, Tallbird, Llewellyn pulls out a gun, threatening Tallbird, saying he will take Jonah's body. But weirdly, a shot rings out and Llewellyn drops dead. The gun Jonah is holding, or his corpse is holding, has a whiff of smoke come from it, but no explanation is given of how it is fired. Tallbird is able to give Jonah his proper funeral. Now, I'm sorry to be backwards about Jonah's story, but it was this book, or that book I showed previously, that started my idea. And now, time for his first two appearances that appeared in All-Star Western. It changed with number 12, so I'm going to do a part 2 with those issues afterwards. But his very first appearance was back here in All-Star Western number 10. Don't see much of him in this issue actually, as far as the cover's concerned. It's just his shadow. But this came out in March, or cover date March 1972, volume 2 number 10. The cover art is by Tony De Zuniga, if that's how you pronounce his name, and the writer is John Albano, so obviously they were the creators of Jonah Hex. This issue is called Welcome to Paradise. The other stories in it are from a character called El Diablo, the devil, I presume that means, and the title is The Devil's Secret. It was written by Robert Kanigher, and the art is by Gray Morrow. Also in this issue is a story by Batlash called Revenge Part 2. So obviously number 9 had Part 1 in it, which again, I have got all of those issues. It was actually a reprint of Batlash number 6, come out in September 1969. The writer was Denny O'Neil. The artist was Sergio Aragones. I'm sure people will recognise that name from other things he did years later. And the art was by Nick Cardy and Mike Sekowski. And then the last issue of All-Star Western, Volume 2, number 11. And I think this is my favourite Jonah Hex cover. I hope to get another copy of this because this one isn't as nice as I would like it. But it seems to go for nearly as much as number 10 does. This is May 1972 cover date, and the cover art was by Nestor Redondo. The title was called The $100 Deal. The writer was John Albano, and the art was by Tony DeZuniga. The El Diablo, go right a minute, sorry. The El Diablo, Diablo story is Satan's Sanctuary, and the writer again was Sergio Aragones and Lemoine. I've definitely got to get a new set of teeth. And the art was by Gray Morrow. There was also another story from quite a long time ago, The Buffalo Hide Bandits, and it starred Pow Wow Smith. And this came from Western Comics 79 in February 1960. Written by Gardner Fox and the art by Carmine Infantino. And then we had another repeat of Batlash. This one was called Brothers, and it was a reprint of the last issue of Batlash, number 7, November 1969. So considering this book came out in 72, only 3 years, they do a repeat, like the BBC, I suppose. And the writer was Sergio Aragonés again and Denny O'Neil, and the art was by Nick Cardy. Now, if you want any more of this, if you would like to like and subscribe, that would be lovely. And I will be with part 2 and go through the rest of the Jonah Hex books. Thank you very much for watching. See you again.